Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. Right, so finally we do have a tier list update. I didn't manage to squeeze it in the month of June quite, but this is the final last ranking video, obviously, as in like the culmination. And well, for most part, this kind of reflects the top lists, at least for the, the heavy meta and top of the game list, where the top champions end up being top of the game, and then most of the champions that you saw on these top 10 lists end up being in the meta. It is super important to keep in mind that this list is a mixture of my personal view of the game and current game relevance and trends. I primarily look at the offensive value in this particular list, and as well, there are obviously some game modes that influence these lists more, namely Alliance War, Battlegrounds, and general questing overall situation. Each summoner obviously has different needs and preferences, which far outweigh the importance of this or any other list. So, always rank up the champions that will help you get where you are going. If you are progressing through the story content, then rank up champions that, will help you deal with whichever boss or path you are struggling with. If you are, trying to get into battlegrounds, then check out, the most effective battlegrounds, offensive and defensive champions. If you are focusing on Alliance War, then, maybe you need defenders, so on and so forth. So all of that is far more important than this or any other list or how high a champion sits there. And lastly, do not forget that this is also a game, and you always can rank up whichever champion you like, regardless of whether the champion's like super highly on this or any other list, or perhaps they are a bit lower, because if you do truly like and enjoy the champion, you will get the best out of it. And there are a lot of people who, for instance, rank up their Red Goblin and do well, or rank up their Storm and can do awesome things. It doesn't mean that they are the best of the best champions, but if you know every intricate matchup or detail and ability and the interaction of those champions and are super accustomed to the playstyles, then you will perform, better than an average player would with that champion. And that often is quite a big factor. One of the recent things that I have done, for instance, personally, is I ranked up my Nova. And yes, I bumped up Nova from useful to frequently useful list, because I do think that Nova kind of deserves to be there, as in like bottom end or mid of top 20 in Cosmics. And yeah, like Nova is definitely not like at the very top of the class there. And similar to Havoc, Havoc's not like super exceptional mutant. I have Kitty Pryde and Archangel both sitting at rank 4, but I do have Havoc at rank 5. Similarly, I have a rank 5 Mole Man now. I just very, very much so like the character, and I have yet to rank up Nick Fury. Anyhow, so all that being said, obviously, some notable changes here. Adam Warlock, I am at the moment putting him in meta. Let's see if he stays there. I do think that this kind of corresponds with his current position. Could also be listed as frequently useful champion, going with the trend that Cosmic is like a very, very top-heavy class, as we can see here. Wait one second. King Groot needs to go down. So King Groot, I believe, one second, that is a slight overlook, because King Groot definitely has lost his ground. I do have a video that I have to make about King Groot that I have been late on for about a couple of weeks. But I do believe that King Groot is in the frequently useful category. And here we are. So as we can see, Cosmic is definitely relatively top-heavy class. And we can also definitely notice that mutants have less top-of-the-game characters overall now than they used to. APOC is the big kind of demotion. I do think he's still the third overall in mutant class, because he does well in Alliance Wars and definitely an amazing, exceptional questing champion. But I do think he's a bit out of place when we are discussing top of the game characters. He's very, very good, but I do not think he just quite makes it there. There are 19 champions listed here as top of the game. There are several champions that are very close to it, but they are brand new, so we will have to keep a close eye to what happens with that. And yeah, so our top of the game characters, I didn't add any new champions in top of the game. I did demote a couple. Hyperion, I think, has taken a tiny bit of a step back. He's still an absolutely amazing champion, but I do not think he's quite up there at the very tippy top of the game. yeah, Adam Warlock is a new addition. APOC is a slight step down as well. And I think rest of the champions are about, where they used to be. Future Ant-Man is a promotion. Obviously, Future Ant-Man has been absolutely popping in the game overall, and so has been Shuri. And Shuri actually moved all the way from occasionally useful to meta tier because, yeah, with the buff, with the releases, 7-star Shuri has been absolutely destroying everything. Kate Bishop also is in the meta already. Is a brand new champion, earned her promotion very, very quickly, and a lot of people absolutely love this young lady, and I do think she deserves to be up there. Our promotions here as well are Cassie Lang, Spider-Ham, and Hulk, because these are the champions that are currently, being the more popular, more used. And here we can see that there are a ton of science champions I would personally consider meta, because that is the hallmark of the science class, where we have a ton of extremely, extremely powerful champions. And yeah, Hulk definitely fits in that very well. We have a couple of promotions here for America Chavez and Spider-Man Supreme, also moving on to the meta tier, as well as obviously the Juggy Boy still hanging in there easily because Juggernaut is an absolute monster. And I have a rank 5 now, so you can call bias on that one, but I do think that he definitely deserves to be up there. For changes here, we have Dani Moonstar, one of the new champions. I am putting her in frequently useful tier. We'll see where she ends up being. I do think that frequently useful kind of fits her very well. Dani Moonstar is a very solid and good character, but she's not like broken or busted or, has the biggest amount of utility in the game. She's very cool to play. She has solid damage output. She has some bits of utility, and she does have her, falter, and she does have her immortality bypass abilities and some other stuff. But there are also weaknesses with Dani Moonstar, especially with her, for instance, dealing with Nick Fury. I have only had the chance to use Dani Moonstar in about 2 or 3, slightly more Battlegrounds fights, but twice or 3 times against Nick Fury. And twice her abilities kind of failed me because of this indefinite marked passive. It just did not activate because I nuked down Nick Fury with a single kind of like big hit, and it just did not have time to activate. So I do think that there has to be some tuning done with Dani as well. Perhaps increase some duration, slightly increase this to slightly bigger percentage, or figure out some other way how she can inflict that marked passive. Because at the moment, for instance, Penny Parker is definitely much more reliable, kind of like an option to bypass Nick Fury's second life than Dani Moonstar. Because yeah, you can just kind of like take Nick Fury from the 15% to 0%, and then what? Well, it doesn't activate. So Gambit definitely has been seeing a glow up as well as Storm Pyramid X. So they are here now in the frequently useful tier. When it comes to Mystics, for the most part, there are no major changes or promotions here at the moment. When the Science Champions, also, Sandman, I have him at frequently useful tier, but I'm not actually super sure that he's going to maintain there, because at the moment, well, Sandman's completely quiet. And Sandman has that extremely unfortunate position of being the last champion that didn't quite make it to the featured crystal. And on top of it, Sandman also was one of the last arenas where only top 100 people got it, whilst every, arena botter was still in the game. So his cutoff was insanely high. Only 100 people could grind for him. He wasn't like the hypest character. And the end result is I pretty much don't see Sandman anywhere. So it's very hard to judge. So for now, based on his abilities, I was quite optimistic. But as the time goes by and the silence from character kind of continues, I am getting more and more pessimistic, to a point where he might actually end up getting bumped down. So here we have Moondragon as well, one of the newer champions. It is quite clear that she does have quite a lot of nuking potential, and she is actually performing better than I thought she would be initially. His ability to go for her unblockable specials, inflict a ton of debuffs, bypass evade. There's quite a lot to like about Moondragon, but again, I would like to see more. I do not think that she's performing at the level of Kate and Future Ant-Man at the moment. However, she's the newer champion, and far less people have her, so that definitely will remain to be seen. Lady Deathstrike, I do have quite high expectations, so I put her in the frequently useful as well. She's a very simple, straightforward champion that, basically has access to heal block, rapture, and then there are a few other extra helpful mechanics, but being super straightforward to play and quite effective at what she does, I do think she will fit in the game quite well overall. And then there are several other champions that I do want to keep a closer eye on for. Obviously, Mantis tune-up is coming very, very soon. Hawkeye is somebody that I do want to pay attention myself because I duped my 7-star and I will be trying to see how well or poorly he performs. And then there are a handful of other champions that, may or may not get a change in rankings quite soon. So let me know what do you guys think about all of these changes and the placement for the new champions. So as we can see, Adam Warlock is at the moment dropped in the meta tier, but I'm not like super certain of that. Danny Moonstar is in the frequently useful tier, and we have Lady Deathstrike also in the frequently useful tier, and so is Moondragon, because I do think all of the new champions are coming out at a very, very good quality, but none of them are completely kind of like busted and broken. Today's promotion, I think, is absolutely justified to meta tier, so is future Ant-Man, Crossbones, and Kate Bishop. So is Hulk, Spider-Ham, and Cassie Lang, because all of them are performing extremely well. And yeah, obviously the demotions as well. Not everybody's going to be a fan of them. I still have, obviously, the 7-star tier list where I'm just specifically pointing out the champions that are currently 7 stars in the game. And I did make a decision to kind of rename this. Only champions available in 7-star basic crystal are on this list because 99.9% of the people will not get access to 7-star Danny Moonstar or Lady Deathstrike for quite a while. So I will be updating these things as and when new champions get added to the basic 7-star pool. And here, remember that I also do have notes for each individual 7-star, so I will carry on in the same fashion where whenever we do get new champions, I will kind of like leave little hints and updates about the champions, whether the dupe is required, where they are useful, and so on and so forth. And yeah, so that is the update to the tier list. I don't think I do need to keep you guys here for that much longer. I'm obviously willing to hear your suggestions about the changes to the tiers as well. There are, as I said, several champions that I'm definitely kind of like on the edge. For instance, Iceman, I'm very interested how he will do. Very interested how Gore does in the future. And whole bunch of other champions, because I do think that the game is shifting quite drastically right now. And obviously, as soon as Alliance Wars are going to come back, that will also have an impact potentially. And we should be getting some relatively big piece of content, hopefully soon, like Abyss, that will, hopefully let some other champions shine. But as it is right now, I'm fairly happy with the list. And yeah, I do want to hear what you guys think about it. And I will catch you guys soon. Bye. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about